All right, for the final stage of this hairstyle, we're gonna do a little bit of coloring. We're gonna do everything in one step. And the brown that I'm gonna be using is a very cheap one from Wella. It's the Wella medium brown. And I'm using a 20 developer from Wella also. And I've mixed those into this little container here. And while that is setting in, instead of going and washing it and coming back, I'm just gonna go ahead and do some streaks on the top and we'll get it all done in one shot. The streaks do need to sit for about 20 to 30, sometimes 40 minutes if you want them to really lift that hair and get it lighter. This dye only really needs about 6 minutes to do its job. So this is the medium brown dye. Since I have this dye that's made, we're not going to let it go to waste. I am going to use some of my clips to hold the hair out of the way. In the past, I have tried to do blonde streaks to cover some of this area, and because the hair grows at such varying angles, it's so difficult to get that right. Eventually we figured, you know what, let's just color the hair brown, and then we'll come in and put the streaks in afterwards. That was so much of a better decision than trying to pick out all the little gray strands in there and then bleach them blonde. That was very time consuming and we just never quite got it. Seems like if you buy bigger amounts, it's cheaper. I've had this for years. That's probably all we need because, like I explained earlier, we're just gonna do basically one layer of highlights at the top. We may do a few in the back. To activate that bleach, we're gonna use a 40 developer. And you always mix about 2 to 3 times developer to how much bleach powder you put in. And I've prepared aluminum foil sheets for the highlights. So I'm going to come here and just make sure that this line is in fact perfect before we put our streaks in. This is a little unprofessional, but I always ask Esther to hold this tray for me so that I don't have to reach over to the counter and back. If I had the proper tools, I suppose I wouldn't need to do that, but here we are in the kitchen. Do you think you could hold this for me too? Thank you, you can pinch that. So I'm gonna come in about a little less than an inch, maybe half an inch, a little more than half an inch, meaning from the part inwards. And I am just going to weave little strands of hair, and that's what's gonna create our highlight pattern. I usually do 6 or 7 of these on either side. Okay, we're ready to do some brushing, some painting. All right, if you have never done this before, you're gonna learn as you go. And the first thing you're gonna learn is that the biggest mistake you can make when doing highlights and bleaching hair is you get too close to the roots and get outside of the foil and create splotches. All right, we went ahead and lowered Esther because I wasn't able to reach the top of her head as easily as I need to. And I'm just gonna fix these up a little bit. I'm gonna lift all 6 or 7 of these strands so I can get the aluminum foil all the way up to the scalp. All right, like I was saying, the biggest mistake here is you're trying to get so close to the scalp and get that line of your highlights so close to where it comes out of the scalp that you end up creating splotches of bleach that go outside of the area intended. And the only way to fix that is to dye those areas brown again. So you don't really need to get so close. The closer the better, obviously. So if you can get close, you do. But if you're getting close at the expense of making a much bigger mistake, then What I'm doing right here is usually close enough. Go ahead and pinch this in by folding it over 2 or 3 times. And let's do the same thing on the other side. Okay, that's the bulk of what we're gonna do, but we're gonna also do some in the back. Now this back area, these are much shorter strands, but it does look nice when the longer part of the hair that goes all the way till around here, if this has some streaks, it adds to the effect and looks really nice on this hairstyle. Start with these two. Thank you. All right, that is 2 strands, 2 streaks right there. We're gonna do another 2 over here. All right, really, we're very close. Let's just do a few more around this area. This area was really hard for me to get some streaks all the way to the root, but I'm gonna try again. Even if I can just get 1 strand, I'd be happy. But it was a challenge early. I'm gonna try again now. There we go. I got that 1 strand. I'm gonna mat everything down around it so as to not mess up what we already have. I think we pretty much have the whole area that we were gonna streak done. There's about 6 or 7 in the front, and then there's about another 6 or 7 in the back area. And we're gonna let this sit for 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll come back and show you the final product.